At home, in your car, or wherever you are, you're getting your day rolling with Big Mornings on the Big AM 1380.
'Twas the night before Christmas in some other house. The firstborn and lastborn were quiet as a mouse. The one creature stirring, I probably should mention, was the middle child, constantly seeking attention. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care. Still the middle child complained, "Theirs are bigger, no fair." While the oldest and youngest were snug in their bed, visions of hand-me-downs danced in his head. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap were so sick and tired of his middle child crap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter. Now what was he up to? Now what was the matter? My wondering eyes through the window could see a person I've seen many times on TV. She whined and she moaned, did this blonde-haired young lady. I knew in a moment it must be Jan Brady. "Marcia, Marcia, Marcia," I heard her exclaim. "She gets all the glory, I get all the blame. If just for one day I could feel like the favorite, I'd relish the moment and always would savor it. Then, if as a sign from some power on high, a sleigh and 8 reindeer fell out of the sky. That's when Santa lost all control of his sled and hit poor Jan Brady smack dab on her head. It's clear what I saw, so it's true when I'm saying that Santa was guilty of texting while sleighing. Then, something surreal happened after he hit her. I wished I had shared it on Facebook or Twitter. With a wink of his eye and a twist of his head, that jolly old man left Jan Brady for dead. He summoned his reindeer and called them by name and told them to hurry before the cops came. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, they flew to the sky as those reindeer did climb and dashed away all from their hit-and-run crime. The ambulance came with its red lights aglow to shovel that mid-kid from out of the snow. The medics declared after lengthy discussion it was clear that she suffered a major concussion. They concurred that her symptoms would lessen and clear, but her middle child syndrome was terminally severe. And as they prepared for her hospital journey, her flash-frozen torso was placed on the gurney. She came to her senses, though clearly exhausted, and uttered these words as she thawed and defrosted. "It really does suck being stuck in the middle. We always feel like we're the ones they belittle. Our siblings are normal, all happy and smiley, and we end up acting out, twerking like Miley." She continued her rant as they bandaged her head. It's hard to recount all the things that she said, but the last thing she babbled, I clearly recall. "Happy Christmas," she said, "middle children and all."
And there you have it, the Middle Child's Night Before Christmas. Put together by our next guest on Big Mornings in the Big AM 1380. He is the head of the International Middle Child Union. And he joins us right now on Big Mornings in the Big AM 1380. Union head and all-around bon vivant joining us on the program. It's Bruce Hopman. And Bruce, welcome back. It's good to have you with us once again on the program.
I'm glad to be, and I'm honored that I made it to the big eve of Christmas Eve broadcast. This is an honor for me.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing, because what we're talking about having, Christmas Eve, and that's Eve twice, and of course we all know Eve Plum played Jan Brady on the Brady Bunch. So there you go.
So obvious.
One thing that we do want to talk about, actually a couple of things we want to talk about today. I had mentioned it before. You joined us on the air here, Bruce, and that has to do because we are in bowl season. There are bowl games left, right, up and down, sideways, and you have devised a bowl game for the middle child to enjoy. Tell us more about that endeavor there, Bruce.
Well, sure, yeah, because and that is my goal. The goal of the International Middle Child Union is to elevate the middle child, to give us that moment in the spotlight that we're constantly seeking. Mm-hmm. And it's, as you said, it's bowl season. There are 40 bowl games. They've already started playing some. They're going to go through after the beginning of the year. And with 40 games being played, there are some bad bowl games out there. This year there are 3 teams with losing records, 3, 5, and 7 teams in bowls, 12, 6, and 6 teams. So I was thinking, how can we capitalize this? How can we, what's the middle child spin on this? And I figured let's take the 2 worst teams in the country. Let's find the worst college teams we can and create a bowl that no one wants to pay attention to. The Middle Child Bowl. Makes perfect sense. So now, as it turns out, I'm not the only person who was thinking about this. There's a writer from CBS Sports, Tom Fernelli, who actually ranks the bottom 25 teams throughout the season, which I think is great. Everybody focuses on the top 25. What about the bottom 25? So he picked out the two worst teams. He said it's University of Central Florida. They are 0-12. And the Kansas Jayhawks were 0-12. Now, those are out of the 128 teams tracked by the football, the bowl system. They're 127. I'm sorry, they were 124 and 128. So I figured there he ranks them the bottom teams, but maybe there's a team with one or two wins that are better. Because just because you've not won a game doesn't mean you're that. I mean, you're obviously horrible, but there's a one-win team who could be worse. But as it turns out, there's not. I did some digging, and I was trying to be optimistic about it, but Kansas and Florida are just plain terrible. So they are the honorees. They are the inaugural teams to play in the first ever Middle Child Bowl. Of course, this game will never happen, but I think it's a great idea, and I think they should go out there, play for their chance at college football futility. And may the less worst team win, and there you have it, the Middle Child Bowl.
Well, I guess the thing is, it gives the teams something to strive for, which I think is always something. It's like getting attention, and that's one of the keys of the International Middle Child Union, getting attention in a situation where you feel you're down on your luck and kind of oppressed, if you will. So really, this is an opportunity for one of these losing teams to get a little attention during the course of the season. Exactly,
and the winning team actually loses. So to win the Middle Child Bowl, you have to lose the game because you want to be the worst. So it's got that little twist going for it also. So I think it could be fun. I think we should do a professional football version of that, of the Super Bowl. We can call it the Stupor Bowl, and we could feature two of the worst teams in the NFL, one of which might be Miami Dolphins.
I just heard about that this morning because somebody had mentioned that on another radio program where they ended up having one year the Baltimore Colts and the New Orleans Saints had a combined record toward the end of the season, like they had one win and like 27 losses or something. And so they ended up, what they did was they took the word super and wrote it backwards as like the Resub Bowl or something like, Repus Bowl is what it was, or I think, Repus Bowl is what it was called. It's the super backwards.
Here, and I would like to just spread a wide net out there as far as the Middle Child Union goes. We welcome anyone. You don't have to be born a middle child to be a part of this movement. Anyone, I could say, there's a middle child mindset. Anyone who's ever felt left alone, left out, left behind. Anyone who's seeking attention can join us in our quest here. So I'm all about trying to find ways for anyone who feels like they're not getting enough attention to get the attention they seek. So that worst teams, people, sports teams nobody wants to watch, we embrace them, we endorse them.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, too, is like if you're looking for people that are craving attention, you've come to the right business when it comes to radio. I've worked with a lot of people who are just attention hungry in this business, that's for certain. But, I think that's the other thing, too, because when it comes to understanding the plight of the middle child, this is why I welcome Bruce onto the program. This is why, because it's an opportunity for him to get the word out to other middle children and those who really want to, and I guess they want to understand the plight of the middle child, and and this is something because what you're doing is not just accepting the middle children for kinship, if you will, but it's also a situation where it's an outreach, so you can get the word out about the plight of the middle child too.
Exactly. We got a lot of bad press out there. We got the middle child syndrome going. I know we've discussed this before, but every child, every birth position in a family has certain characteristics, but only the middle child got lucky to be tagged with this syndrome. There's no firstborn syndrome. There's no youngest syndrome, but somehow middle children, we lucked out. We get the middle child syndrome, which sounds like a horrible disease, but that's why I want to embrace everyone. I want to help us all feel better about our lot in life.
Because it's also a case too, when you bond together, you grow stronger, which is the purpose of a union.
Exactly, which is why I encourage all your listeners, go to the blog, smackdabblog.com. You'll find out everything you never wanted to know about being a middle child there. I'm currently working on some year-end lists. It's that time of year also. It seems everybody's coming out with their year-end list. I know last week on the show you were talking about the most Googled celebrities of the year. So I took a look at the top 10 of them, and out of the top 10, looks like there's 40%. 4 of them are middle children. You got Caitlyn Jenner, who was also a middle child when she was Bruce Jenner. So I think that one should count twice. We've got Ronda Rousey. Now she's apparently a mixed martial arts fighter. But
yeah.
A top Google. Donald Trump, who we discussed, one of several presidential candidates, who's a middle child,
and he's getting attention too.
Is he? You think so? But not. If you ask him, not enough. And then you've got Charlie Sheen, who, not surprisingly, a middle child.
Yeah, he's getting attention as well. That's for certain.
So four of the top 10, 4%.
So how do you narrow it down to the middle child of the year, Bruce? That's the next question, because we're talking about some very strong candidates there.
Yeah, I think you could use these as a good basis, and obviously I've never heard of the mixed martial arts person, so I would eliminate her right away. And Charlie Sheen is kind of old news. I think you might have to go with like Donald Trump or Caitlyn Jenner, who, by the way, were also finalists, top 5 finalists 4 times Person of the Year.
Interesting.
So I think it might have to be between the two of them, or between Jenner and Trump.
All right.
I'd love to hear what Donald would have to say about that.
Yeah, indeed. Bruce Hopman from the International Middle Child Union, the head of that. Give us that blog one more time. It's
smackdabblog.com. You could follow on Twitter at MidKidMusings. Ted, I just want to add, it's a special honor being here today on a Wednesday. Wednesday, the forgotten middle child of the week.
Middle of the week, indeed. And the other thing, too, you have to figure out a city to have that middle child bowl in, a forgotten city as well.
Well, it's got to be Middletown or something. I'm sure we could find enough towns.
Yes, Middleborough, Kentucky. There you go.
That's perfect.
Bruce, thanks a lot. Happy holidays, sir.
Ted, thanks for having me. Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
Indeed. 8:30 at the Big AM 1380. The Big AM 1380.